Hi, I'm Dave Crane, and it's my pleasure to be able to share this keynote with you all about how to become a business rock star. This is aimed at anybody who's trying to make their way forward in the digital age. And it seems ridiculous to say the digital age because if you're a student right now, everything's always been digital. When you look at my age, I'm about 8 billion years old, then it was slightly different when I was at college and university, but that doesn't make it any less relevant for the stuff that you need to get from this whole presentation. So with that, let's look at it. How do you become a business rock star? What is a business rock star? Well, that's what we're
I
going to
have
be
been
investigating.
participating in Dave Crane's Industry Icon program.
Dave Crane is one of the best coaches in the industry.
One of the most knowledgeable speakers I know.
I was so impressed.
He shared the stage with celebrities, athletes, politicians, and royalty.
You've been an inspiration to me since the first time I saw you on LinkedIn, man.
New prospects.
So I train people how to be industry icons and I show them how to do amazing things. I've worked with a lot of big stars over the years. So if you're thinking, who's Dave Crane? What does Dave Crane do? Then once again, it's a good question to ask because everything I share with you in this presentation, I want it to be a mirror reflection of what you ask yourself. Who are you? What's your brand? What do you need to do to position yourself as being the most effective so people can trust you, they can give you credibility, and they know with certainty when they hire you and work with you, you always deliver the goods. You have to be congruent. So therefore, it means from this point on, starting to gather footage, optics, and proof that you are the real deal. Let me share with you what mine does.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've hosted over 1,000 events, and there's nothing more exciting or nerve-wracking than getting to introduce one of the best in the business. He's an award-winning international motivational speaker and coach. He's worked with celebrities like James Brown and Bruce Willis.
And I'm Jack Canfield.
And I'm Brian Tracy.
And I'm John Gray.
I'm Jared Robin.
And I'm Perry Marshall.
Hi, and I'm George Regan.
To audiences of over 1 billion people. He's sharing how to become unstoppable in business. It's my honor to introduce to you Dave Crane.
So whatever industry you are, whatever it is you do, it's now the time to start gathering information to prove you are what it says on the tin that has you inside it. I know you're not in a tin, but you get the general idea. Now, before we do anything, I want to give you a couple of free gifts. I'll help you to move forward on your way. First thing is this. I want to offer you a chance to join my Turbocharge Your Career 5-day challenge. It's a group that I have that built over the last 6 months, starting off with about 30, 50 people. We've now got over 400 people, all big hitters from around the world. Some are owning their own business. There's royals in there, multimillionaires, super successful people. And why do they come together? Because I teach them how to grow who they are. Their personal branding, their business, all the different concepts. I do it for a 5-day challenge. You're very welcome to join. All you have to do is hold your phone up to the QR code or take a screenshot and then come and join me. It's a WhatsApp group and it's absolutely free. The second thing I want to give you as a free gift is exclusively for you. It's a book, a PDF, on it's 10 strategies on how to guarantee to fast track your career. That covers everything from branding to learning to speak in public, to being able to get people to buy into you, to follow you, and how to have the right mindset, getting over imposter syndrome and moving your way forward. Once again, get your phone up, hold it up to the QR code, and therefore from there you should be able to go register, and within just 20 seconds you'll be able to have this book in your email. So with that being said, that's the freebies. Let's get straight into what we wanted to talk about, which is how to be a business rock star, how to become unstoppable. So what does that mean and how do you do it? Well, don't worry, we've got a plan. Let's start it right here. Your average day, whether you're an entrepreneur or a student, probably gets along the lines of this. Let's take a closer look. So you start off with saying, I'm excited. Oh, this is hard. No, it's working. I've messed up again. Give up the good for the great. It's good. Oh no, I'm going to go bankrupt. No, I'm good. I don't know why I ever say bad things to myself. I was wrong again. I suck. And then as you move on and it all grows, you go, wait a second, my life is great. Now, if this feels like your normal day, it doesn't mean you're an entrepreneur. It means you're a human being, but it doesn't mean that you can't move forward. And remember, this is going up. The learning curve takes you up and down, but as long as you're moving forward and you have got momentum, it means you are moving forward. So does this resonate with you so far? Good. Well, with that, I'm going to share with you a number of different things that help to make you a rock star. Now, you're going to say, well, what does rock star mean? Why should I be looking to become a rock star? Well, I believe that rock stars are no longer movie stars. In the good old days, to be a rock star, it meant, everyone walks around, oh, you're a movie star, you're a rock star. Business people are the new rock stars. People come up with apps or great ideas or position themselves really well. They've got influence, get people to hang around with them and learn from them. That's what you really want, to be a rock star. So let's return to this. Who make great rock stars? Well, CEOs and founders. Positioning yourself as a leader of a business really helps. Also, senior executives, directors, vice principals, C-level independent identities. Now, these are guys that you might know, you might want to be, but it doesn't matter yet because I've got more for you. Again, entrepreneurs and startups, when you look at somebody who's started a new business, wow, Rockstar, great idea. Let's see how people invest in it. Let's see whether it takes off or not. Consultants and freelancers, positioning yourself as a top expert in your field so people go to you and spend money. Number 5, industry and analysts, people who give credibility, give the doors open, and have conversations where people say, oh my goodness, you're so smart, you know what's going on in the future. Now, these are all accessible for you, maybe not yet, but the things that you should get your head around in the future. Academic leaders, creating influence because you're a subject matter expert. These are all rock star positions. As an author or a speaker, creating speaking opportunities, getting sponsors on board, and creating followers wherever you go. Being a game changer, aspiring to create an easier path for the next generation or for your existing generation to be able to move forward faster, get more money, get more happiness, and be able to not spend so much time dealing with rubbish, which is why AI has made that a lot easier for everybody. Do you remember life before AI? It's difficult, isn't it? I remember life before the internet. Yes, that's how old I am. Number 9 is over 50s workers, people who are maybe your parents or maybe even uncles or aunts. These are people who have got proven expertise but are finding that they're being marginalized. Same as you. Going out into the industry and saying, I'm here. Well, we don't want that anymore. There's a sweet spot. Graduated with experience and has been in the industry for 10 years. That's not you yet, but it will be. But that's other people's rules. You don't have to play by any of them. Now, if this makes sense or you're something similar, then you're in good company. But for students, there's a slightly different situation. Let me share this with you. Now, Jack Ma is a brilliant thinker. I don't know if you've come across Jack Ma before. He was the CEO of Alibaba, and he's dedicated his life to helping people to grow. Really smart Chinese businessman. And you should read his stuff and connect with his stuff as much as you possibly can. And he shared this insight a couple of years ago, and I've never forgotten about it. And it's about the way that your life should be mapped out to have success. It's a roadmap. So first of all is this. In your 20s, and some of you might not be 20, that's fine, explore and learn and try different things and get different skills and get things wrong and make a mess of it. That's fine. You're only young. You're not expected to change the world despite what everybody else says. Second thing is in your 30s, focus and build. Try out stuff. Some will work, some will won't, but concentrate on discovering as much as you can. Attach yourself to other people's businesses and go through and learn from people who are very good at doing what they do, because it's all part of your learning curve. In your 40s, deepen your impact. Select what you're really good at. Become an expert and then really make that impact. Get people to say, wow, you're really good at this. And you know you're good at it because you've actually got rid of all the stuff. You don't focus on stuff that you're really bad at. You focus on stuff that you're really good at. In the 50s, and this is a long time from you, I understand, but it's nice if you know the roadmap of how this works. Become a mentor or an investor. You spend your time nurturing and helping the next generation because you know what you're doing. But it's not about you anymore. It's about the people that can learn from you, because that grows your legacy and it also positions you to be really well and thought of as a thought leader. And then in your 60s, enjoy and reflect. That means concentrating on your well-being, enjoying your life, and spending time with your family. Now, the real world is that if you're born around about now, you'll probably live to about 120 and 150 years old because of technology. That's mad. In my day, by the time somebody was retiring in their 60s, then they lived on average for another 7 years. It's true. Their body and their mind shut down when they're in the garden just looking after the roses and planting potatoes or whatever they're doing. They kind of slow down. You need to have challenges in life. It's what we're made to do and what makes us even stronger. So here's a question for you. Who are you? It's a rhetorical question. You know who you are. I haven't met you yet. When you join my group, so I'll find out exactly who you are. But who are you? Do you know yourself? I've shown you my branding. I've shown you who I am. So you've already got a basic idea. But your discovery in your life is to discover who you really are. Now, we go through a lucky life lottery. What does that mean, Dave? Well, there's certain things in your life that you don't control. You are not in charge of where you're born. You're not in charge of which race you are. You're not in charge of what affluence your family has. That was all decided long before you came along. And then you've got connections. Well, none of them were yours. They were somebody else's connections. Then you've got the spiritual beliefs you're born into. Are you Christian? Are you Hindu? Are you Muslim? Are you... I don't mean disrespect when I say whatever, but it doesn't matter. You don't control them, but you can later on. Your nationality, the color of your skin, your gender preference, your physicality, the traditions that you uphold, and last of all, your existing influence on the world. These are things that are created before you get there, but these are not necessarily things that you have to put up with. You have the strength, you have the ability, and you have a whole lifetime to define which of those you want to reestablish, reinvent, or deep down, dig and double down and deep dive into, so people know that that represents you and your personal brand. And there's no judgment apart from the ones that you have on yourself. Other people make their own decisions, but based on their own thoughts. This is really about you and the world and the life that you create. So what does society value most? Now this might seem bizarre, and I should leave you with a few moments to actually ask yourself that question. What is the big currency that society values more than anything? Is it money? Is it looks? Is it the brand you create? Is it connections? Is it the legacy? Well, it's more simple than that. It's status. Your status in your industry and in your life is what will carry you to wherever you need to be. And this is the same thing for thousands of years, all nationalities, all religions, all countries, over the ages. It's the same thing. Your status matters. So that's what you've got to concentrate on working on. So what's a status game? Let me share that with you right now. So here's a status game. 3 things. Society values your dominant position inside it, your success rate to prove you're very good at what you do, and your virtue, your ability to say, I stand by my word, and I believe that I am right, and I will stick with that. These are the 3 things that make up your status. So in order to be able to have those things, you've got to show your dominance by being warm at the same time. Yeah, I'm very good at what I do, but it doesn't mean I'm not approachable. And show your success by sharing your expertise. Give insights into what makes you successful, how you got there. Then people say, wow, and they follow you. This might make sense to you already if you follow social media influencers or you look at the biggest hitters in our life right now. Whoever you're following, they do this really well. And the last but not least of this is virtue. What do you mean by virtue? Well, these tend to fall into usually spiritual leaders like the Pope or Michelle Obama, people who turn around and you know that they're going to stick by their guns. They don't lie, they tell you exactly what's there, even if it's an uncomfortable truth to them or to the rest of the world, they stick by that. Now this is very important that you understand and you start positioning yourself, because when you've done that, you've created your brand, and that's what people want from you. Trust and credibility. So how do we use all this to succeed? Well, let's look at a formula of how we get paid. Look at a formula of what people create as a relationship with us. What do clients want? Let me share that with you right now. Clients want to ask this question. This is a buying process. What's my headache? What's my challenge? What is it I need to fix? And who can fix it? Then when they select a shortlist, they say, who's the best fit? So maybe they come out with your name. If they choose you, will their headache disappear and everything works out? They're almost there ready to buy, but then they're going to ask a question. Can I get it cheaper from anybody else? If the answer is no, then they're sold and they will buy from you. But think about that process. That means you've got to work on creating a niche and doubling down on where you need to be. You've got to create trust. You've got to be good at selling. You've got to be the best choice because your client's objectives you've managed to overcome. They get a great return on investment and also the certainty and the social proof that you are the person that they want to work with. So how do we go about creating that? Well, I'm going to teach you how to be unstoppable by creating a superhero mindset. Now, I teach people how to be industry icons. I don't expect you to come to my courses to become an industry icon, but I want you to have this in mind because these are 10 steps that will really help you to change your game. Now, before we do anything, I want to share with you a question. Ask you a question, really. What's a formula for being paid? Why do you get paid what you get paid? I get paid what I get paid. When you go to Starbucks or any coffee shop, why do the waiters and waitresses get paid what they get paid versus somebody who's driving around in a Lamborghini or going to Wall Street? There's a very simple formula for this, and here's a simple formula for why you get paid what you get paid and everyone else does. You get paid for two things: the effect of what you do and how cheaply you can be replaced by somebody else. Now bear that in mind because we will be returning to this conversation in a few moments' time to give you some more insights into what that truly means for you. So let's go back to becoming unstoppable. What is all that about? Well, first of all, let me share with you my Industry Icon program. Very quickly, this is what I do when I work with people to be able to help them position themselves as the best of what they are. We start off with this: awareness that things are better elsewhere, that you could be bigger, you could be better. You need to reinvent yourself, but you have no idea why or where. That's number one. Now, this is available in my book, by the way, The Thought Leaders Playbook, which is available in shops and on Amazon shortly. We'll find out more about that as I launch it in Davos at the World Economic Forum soon. Then number two is you have aspirations. You look around and say, wow, they're really good at what they do. Can I do the same as them? And then once you're inspired, you say, well, I think I can. You find your voice. And then you create a vehicle which starts taking you on a journey. That's number three. Now, in your journey and in your vehicle, you've got lots of ideas and great stuff. And you've got a brand you're creating. You've got goals and all the rest of it. But then you've got to position yourself because you realize that you're driving a really good vehicle, but it's maybe going in the wrong direction. That's point number four. And then as you're driving, you're saying, right, I'm going in the right direction now. I know why I'm heading there. You've got to have laser focus because you realize that you don't need to carry all this stuff in the vehicle. Not everybody wants it, especially your target audience. You can dump most of the stuff and get there faster. And finally, when you get to the point where your name becomes a verb, then you own your industry and you are an industry icon. For the people that I'm in contact with, they say to clients, we need a Dave Crane on this event. We need to get somebody in to make it fun and to make sure that everybody comes out of it with what they need. Who can we get to make that happen? Dave Crane. That's why I get called. So remember the factors I've shared with you now. Okay, so the Industry Icon program, I'm not going to share too much on that, but I created this to help people to grow themselves. So what are the 10 points you need to know? First one is this: forgive everyone, including yourself. Life is tough, but the thing is, if you don't forgive everybody who's hurt you, you end up carrying around that baggage. And when they look at you and you say, you hurt me, I hate you, you've done all this stuff, it's like drinking poison, but they can't taste it. So instead, you have to move on. Now, forgiveness doesn't excuse their behavior. You don't have to forget, but you should forgive. They don't get away with it that easy, and they don't do it twice. But you shouldn't be making yourself feel terrible because you can't move forward until you've done that. And when you get it right, you give yourself freedom. The freedom to be happier and the freedom to create better success. The world is a really small place. And the world is really fast before you get to your older age. Enjoy every single stage and don't do it carrying all the things that make your life more difficult. Number two is be present. Right now, when you're watching this video, or you're watching me live, or you're watching me on stage, or wherever it is we connect, you might be reading my book, be there at the time, or don't do it at all. There's nothing worse than spending time with somebody when they're on their phone, or they're looking out the window, or it doesn't even seem like they're there. And you don't take that much in. Be present, be there at that time. Makes a huge difference to what you would take in and what you will learn. So imagine getting your mobile phone and putting it inside a box and leaving it there, not getting it out. Can you do that? For how long? Practice it. Spend some quality time just with you, being present and being the person, the wonderful, successful person you truly are. And if you're not feeling successful and you are feeling like an imposter, then there's no better way than asking better questions, and you have the answers. You've got the better computer than any artificial intelligence in your head right now, so use it.
Right, do this. Right, ready. Holy shit.
Can you imagine life if you weren't being present? Can you imagine being in that situation and you weren't paying attention? Life passes you by and you miss great opportunities. So just bear that in mind. Number 3 is you are enough. Everything you think about yourself and you're thinking, how do I get there? How can I make life more successful? You have everything you need already. You are enough to be the success that you truly need to be. That's how it's created. You won't have challenges beyond what you can deal with. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done, and you have all the skills to be able to do it. When you are enough, you'll understand that. When you look at all the challenges, all the people in Bollywood or Hollywood, or all the big stars, movie stars, film stars, rock stars, who therefore you look at them and say, well, how could they have a terrible life? How could they end up with drug addiction? How could they end up being very unhappy? And it's not because they're not successful. It's because they look at others who are more successful and they say, I'm not enough. I've got to get away from where I am with what I have to a place where I can feel better about myself. If you start off understanding you are enough, then it means that the whole rest of it is a journey and it's amazing and you can enjoy every single part of it. For most people, they don't understand what that means. Well, let's look at this. This is the iceberg of success. This is what people see. They see the bit on the top, but don't realize underneath you've been working really hard to get to where you need to be. Persistence, failure, getting it wrong, sacrifice, disappointment, discipline, hard work, dedication. Nobody knows you've gone through that. Nobody knows I've been through that. My wife knows, my daughter knows. Imagine what it was like being an entertainer and a speaker whose entire income is based on people calling you to do gigs because you've been 30 years in Dubai and then a pandemic comes along and you don't have a single gig for 2 years. Where would that position you? Well, trust me, I do know. So let's move on to point number 4. Crack the shell. What does that mean, Dave? Well, this is what it means. Escape your comfort zone. Get out of where you say everything's great. It's fine. And keep staying outside of your comfort zone because it's really good for you. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. The adventure is there. If you stay where you are, you'll always be inside a comfort zone, and it's the wrong place to be, because as everything's moving, you'll find yourself left behind. This is a truth, by the way. The magic happens outside of your comfort zone. The magic happens when you really change your game. 98% of people take a job and just live a life, and AI comes along and knocks their business for six. It goes, you're not guaranteed for anything. You're going to get into your 50s and maybe even younger, and there's no job waiting for you. Now you've got to reinvent yourself, so start off thinking like that anyway. Have a 2% mindset. Be one of those people that finds life difficult all the time. Why? Because you're challenging yourself all the time. It's refreshing, it's adventurous, and it keeps you on your toes. Reinvent yourself all the time. Read about blue ocean strategies and red ocean strategies. I'm not going to spend time now, but get out of where everybody else is and get to where you truly need to be. And jump and grow wings on the way down, because there's a whole world waiting for you right there. Number 5, crack the code. What does that mean? Well, it's very simple. All the time, reverse engineer business codes. See what people do that makes them successful. Work with them if you can do. Get mentored, get trained, but more than anything, ask questions. Be curious. The more you ask the questions, the better something reveals itself to you, and then you can use it as well. What makes a mobile phone super successful? Well, if you take it apart and you work out what the business model is and the marketing, you can produce the same thing. Success leaves clues. Pay attention to them. So where's that? Well, you could do stuff like this if you really want to.
3, 2, 1. Vive la France! Vive la France!
Let me just say, these are not my videos, so I don't take credit for any of them. That is a silly thing to do. Something like 10% success rate doing that, but it's fascinating to watch. What I do believe is jump and grow wings on the way down. It really positions you as being successful. That's important to know what you can and can't do. Discover business codes about jumping out of planes as well. Parachute, always best. Next up, number 6, know your happiness. Know what makes you happy. If you don't know, then how are you going to be happy? How are you going to learn about what makes people sad? You've got to balance the two of them. So that means, in fact, I'll take you back to this. Let's just go back to this whole concept. What makes you happy? It's not just about happiness. Happiness goes up and down. You've got to be sad to understand what happiness is. But what I think you should be looking for is what makes you content in life. So, for instance, I've got a glass of water. And I look at this glass of water and I might be watching an advert about somebody who's a major movie star drinking champagne on a yacht in the Bahamas, surrounded by other pop stars, film stars, the world's top DJs. I'm thinking, I'm in my office now with my glass of water. I wish I could be there. That would make me happy. But here's the thing. Until I get to that point, I wouldn't be happy. Or I can say, you know what I do have is a glass of water. Tastes nice. I could add some ice to this so it makes it cold. I could add some fruit juice or a cordial to make it really tasty. And you know what I could do? I could read a book. I could go out. I could meet friends. I could watch Netflix. I could do something that would make me happier. That's not bad. And I've got that right now. So have your default setting as being content. Doesn't have to be happy. So throughout your entire life, you'll get happiness and you'll be on content. You'll get to sad, but you'll get back to content. And that means your entire life will be there. And that's easy to achieve. Anybody can do that. Number 8 is this. Optimize yourself. Keep working towards making yourself bigger, better, and achieve more. Question for you, and it's a hypothetical question. Will you be most successful in your life by working on your strengths or on your weaknesses? Now, whenever I ask this to big groups of people, CEOs, whoever it is, everyone says the same thing, and you'll probably say the same thing. Work on your weaknesses. Work on what I'm better at. Why? Because it's really important to raise your game. And you're wrong. The schooling system, the education system is wrong. It's not working on your weaknesses that matters. Why? Because if you work on your weaknesses, the best you become is average. Work on your strengths, the things that you're brilliant at, and then you will become brilliant. Does that mean you ignore your weaknesses? Yeah, give them to somebody else for whom they're a strength, but concentrate with laser focus on what you do really well. Now, this might be a radical way of looking at life, but everybody who you know who's an expert at what they do does that thing really well. There might be a disaster in lots of other things, but the one thing they do that makes them a rock star is their strengths. So the formula for being paid, I've shared with you the effect of what you do and also how cheaply you can be replaced by somebody else. That means if you focus on your strengths, they have no choice but to get to you and work with you because everybody else is not as good and they'll pay you for that. Remember that when we're trying to fit you into a normal job or a normal mindset or a normal career. If you do normal, you'll be the same as everybody else and you can be sacked like everybody else. If you specialize and nobody else can get it, and they've got to have to want it, then a game changes again. So that means this, discover your hedgehog, and you're thinking, Dave, why have I got a rodent in front of me? Because I want to show you what a hedgehog is. Trust me, I've done this before and people didn't know what I was talking about. A hedgehog is this very boring, I guess if you're a hedgehog you don't feel it's boring, but a very normal rodent with spikes like a porcupine on the outside. But what nature does is as it wanders around in certain gardens and certain parts of the world, when it gets into danger it curls up into a ball with its spikes on the outside and nothing can get at it. No predator, no badger, no fox, no bird of prey can get near them without getting spikes. Now, they're not very good at crossing the road, but everything else nature makes them really good at. So what do? You discover your own hedgehog. Let me blow this up to a good size because I think you really need to see this as well. So you need to consider three things and take a picture of this or look it up. From Jim Collins, who's done 2 books that I read, Good to Great and Built to Last, which look at businesses that last for 100 years, past the founder, their children, and then the management that take over after that. 3 generations. How can it last 100 years? Because it's got this hedgehog concept built into it. And that means 3 things, 3 circles. First one, concentrate on what you're good at. What do you do brilliantly? Next thing is, what do you love to do? What's your passion? And the third thing is, what will people pay for? What pays really well? When you get all 3 together, it's a win. That's your hedgehog. That's what you should do for the rest of your life. But if you don't get all 3, then you're going to be on a hiding to nothing. So for instance, if you're really good at numbers and stock exchange pays really well, but you hate it, you'll be going to be rich and bored. Or if you're really good at something and you love doing it, but nobody wants to pay for it, you'll be happy, but you'll be poor. Or if you love something and it pays really well, but you're rubbish at it, it's just going to be a dream. And yes, that is my football career. Let's not talk about that. Let's move on. But this concept is really important for you. As we move on to number 9, teach others. This is what I'm doing with you. I'm sharing with you my concepts, my ideas. Why is that? Because I learn more the more that I do it. Build a tribe, a community around you. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, work out which niche or community are you best related to. Then what common enemy will bring you all together? What do they hate as much as you do? Once you've worked that out, what do they want from you? Number 4 is, where are your people? They've usually got, if you watch the Discovery Channel, then you see that they've got these watering holes where all the animals go to eat and drink, or go to drink. So the river, in a jungle, you've got your lions, your tigers, and your bears. Not lions and tigers, I know it's a different jungle. Okay, but you've got your monkeys, you've got your alligators. They're all going at different places to drink from the same river. Work out where your people are and go to them, because they're all there. Then when you got them, build something that satisfies them and makes them happy. That's your community, and then own the conversations. They become your tribe. This is something you need to do. I've done it. I've created various tribes. I've got the Game Changers community. I've got the Industry Icon Global community, and also the Turbocharge Your Brand 5-day challenge community with over 400 people from all around the world, which I'm going to invite you to join in again in a few moments' time. So there we go, that's my community. Get the QR code of that, take a screenshot of it now, or forever you'll miss it, and you'll say, I wish I knew about that, and I'll say, well, you missed it. So my Game Changers community is immensely powerful from all around the world. And last but not least, my final point is number 10, keep going. Life is never easy. You need to have grit. You need to keep pushing. You need to believe in yourself. And grit is a more powerful way of getting success in your life than anything else. All those things I mentioned about the lucky life lottery, about where you're born, who you're connected to, the money you have, the good lookingness, your charisma, all these things, grit beats it. Your ability to stick at it and learn as you go is everything. And you are a work in progress. If you started off with the answers, life would be really boring. So as it progresses, get your grit. In fact, if there's one thing I would say take away from this, it's study what makes grit and stick at it. I've outlasted most of my competition and I put super focus in, which means I do what I do. And they don't because they stopped. Consistency is a major thing. Just like this picture. Hey, Tom, I just realized I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you. Think about that. It's a battle of you versus you, not everybody else. Get what you need from life. So here we go. The bottom line of being a rock star is this. First of all, elevate your personal brand. Stand out from the crowd and become recognized as a leading expert in your industry. And start it now. The earlier you start, the more you can leave a trail of breadcrumbs so people know, they follow you and they believe you. Increase your visibility, gain exposure, speak, do media appearances and get online presences so people know that you're there, and create a larger audience of people who want to see you when you graduate from college. Build credibility, be seen as a go-to person in the industry. I know you're not in the industry yet, so start small, start now. Once you've built trust and credibility, people will offer you work straight away from college because you can start doubling up and getting that now. Do it for free, doesn't matter. Expand your network, connect, meet industry leaders, get on their radar, do stuff for free so they like to value you. Or rather than do it for free, do it as an exchange for services so they know that they owe you and they'll be there for you in the future. And then when you get to a point of being a rock star, you're influencing industry trends. Why not do it now? Publish your white papers, share them across the board, get in contact with companies that can learn from you and shape the future of the industry by sharing your insights. And that positions you as a thought leader. And more than anything, remember this, become so relevant, you'll always be in demand. And therefore, recession-proof and AI-proof. Did I lose a lot of work during the pandemic? Yeah, but I'd already had a brand so people found me easily enough and still worked with me. And last but not least, monetize your expertise. You are now becoming an expert. Now, most people just take a job, but you can do even better. Share what you have, become a consultant, or even create a business that proves who you are and what you do. Write a book, get other people to write in it, interview big stars in your industry, and people associate that you are also a big star. Why? Because you interviewed all the big names. Here's a true fact from Charles Darwin. Adaptability is the most important factor in survival. It's not about your intelligence, and it's not about your strength. You do not have to be the best in your class or at your college. You have to be the person that's able to deal with the business world and adapt faster and better than everybody else. So I'm going to leave you with a short video to help you to illustrate who you are, who I am, and what I do. And this is a beginning of your redefinition. I want to ask you a question. What defines you? What if you lost your money, you lost your job, you lost your house, you lost your shoes, you lost your friends, you lost the ability to turn around and say to people, this is what I want from my life? What if you had no rights? What if you had no clothes? What if you had nowhere to live? What if your passport went and you lost your ability to take a plane to anywhere in the world? What if a bank didn't recognize you? What if nobody recognized you? What if you lost your health? And on top of that, you lost your will. What would you be after all those things? The truth is, you would still be you. Your phone, your gadgets, the people around you, they're what define you right now, but that's not who you truly are. The person you truly are is whoever you decide that you're going to be.
And you can decide that person every single day. Every day you have a choice. You can stay where you are. You can look at the past. You can look at all the trophies on the shelf and the photos and the selfies of the places that you've been and the people you've met. And you can say, that is me. Or you can say, that was me yesterday. The one that comes today and the one that comes tomorrow. It could be anybody. And the adventure is, I'm going to define them right now. And that's why you create a roadmap and you define yourself every single day.
So create the world around you. Remember, what's your thoughts? They become words. What's your words? They become the actions you take. And what's your actions? Because they become a habit. Then what's your habits? Because they become your character. And then what's your character? Because it becomes your destiny, which becomes your legacy. Many people have repeated this, but it's never been more important than right now. It starts in your mind. It starts in your thoughts. And I wish you all the very best where you need to be. So these are the rules. This is what I've shared with you over the last 40 minutes. And I'm really, really grateful that it had some value for you and you learned a ton from me. With that, success does take time. It's never easy, but why would it be? Jump and grow wings on the way down. Are you ready to become a business rock star? My next course starts soon. All you need to do is just join. I will let you in as soon as you get onto WhatsApp and get the QR code. And remember to collect your free gift on how to guarantee to fast track your career. It's been a pleasure spending this quality time with you. Remember to create yourself, and I thank you for this quality time. That's it from me. I wish you all the best, and you've got some amazing speakers to share some ideas. And remember, jump and grow wings on the way down. All the best. My name is Dave Crane.